been in different memberships, and I want to get into all of this nuance, but let's talk about like what you've seen that has really changed in how, I guess, what makes a successful membership today versus what it looked like, back in 2020, for instance.
I think it used to be this, people were coming for this content, like, give me all the content, give me all the, all the information you have, whether this vault of content was such a big deal. And back then it was like, okay, let's give them a roadmap to navigate all of that, but all of that. But I think people are looking for something different now. And so I see that people are, I think the most successful memberships are really leaning into that. A lot of them have, if they were in that same model before, a lot of them, have kind of gutted out what they were offering and simplifying it. I think it just is a better experience for the members. It's probably a more aligned fit for the person running them, but really leaning into what are people looking for and what are they needing. And most often it is not a whole lot more content.
That's true. It reminds me of a leadership coach that I had worked with, and she had put together, it wasn't so much a membership as a full, kind of like a full coaching program, like group coaching program. And the back end was, filled with all kinds of courses that she had created over the years. And then she had the front end of, guest experts and mastermind and hot seat coaching and all of this kind of stuff. And what she realized, one, it was a year-long program and she got exhausted, but two, nobody was like accessing the content. People weren't even showing up that much for guest experts. All they really wanted was that mastermind, that community where they could just be together and talk through things.
Yeah.
So there's so many questions I have. Like, it's like I've got to wrap my brain around like what's the best direction here to go. All right. So I would imagine, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that if you're thinking about starting a membership or a community, that there needs to be a central theme or central purpose, should I say?
Yep.
To the membership. Let's talk a little bit about that, because like I know sometimes I've entertained briefly the idea of having a membership or a community, and I'm thinking, what would I do? There's like a million like business building memberships and communities out there. Like if I started something, I would want it to be very different and very unique and have an edge to it that was different than everything out there. Like, what do you recommend if you're thinking about, starting that type of model? How do you like determine like a purpose and find an edge for your particular membership?
A couple of things. I always ask people to start with like making sure that it's aligned for them, that model aligns for them, because I am not one to say every business should have one, because I just don't believe that. I want it to be a right fit for each person, and that includes a membership owner. But then really looking at like, what are people coming to you for? What's that thing that you could, they always say, what could you, talk about in your sleep, pretty much. But like, what do you find people coming for? A lot of times that can be something that is like the theme of a membership. What's your secret sauce that people keep asking you about? And then the also thing to consider is like what really lights you up, because at the end of the day, if it's completely draining for you, it is not going to be sustainable.
Right.